man, that was a good smack I did. Holy crap, that kind of hurt. All right. Welcome. We're back. Talk about Mandalorian. I'm Paul, with me is Hank.
Hello, I'm Hank.
You're Hank.
Yes.
And we're talking about Chapter 11, The Heiress, Episode 3 of Season 2. This one was huge for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of cool shit going on here.
The frog couple reunited. The most beautiful moment in all of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. So this starts off with the Mandalorian actually making it to Trask after a bumpy ride in through the atmosphere, breaking down on landing, basically. But they made it. They were able to get the frog lady and her husband together to do the whatever the hell they do behind closed doors. I'm not judging. And this is where he is meeting up with somebody at the bar, basically, to find out more about like his own kind or whatever. All right, so
is that really her official name? Is Frog Lady? That's just her name.
Did they really not give her a name?
I mean, on this Wikipedia plot summary, it calls her the Frog Lady. So I don't know.
You know what? They must not have, because Baby Yoda's official name is the Child. So, yeah. All right, fair enough.
Wild.
So right off the bat, different scenery right away. No longer in desert or snowiness. We are on a water planet with a bunch of Mon Calamari, which is kind of fun to see.
Everything's
and,
wet.
I don't remember the name of the other squid people here. Do you remember their name? What they are?
No.
So we meet a Mon Calamari dock worker right at the beginning. That is like, I can make her fly, but I can't fix her, basically. I thought that was funny.
That felt like me at work.
Yeah.
It's like, I can fucking do it, but fucking, I'm not gonna be happy about it.
Yeah. And like, it's funny because it comes into play later where it's like, well, it flies, but it's very obviously a piece of shit. But there's like another species here. I don't remember what they're called. I read it, but I can't remember now. They're like another type of weird fish person. Actually, there's a bunch of different types of fish people just in general. The ones I'm talking about are kind of like bad guys, like thugs,
they have like
almost
Cthulhu faces.
They kind of do, yeah, for
they
sure.
Look kind of like mind flayers, but they have mouths.
Like yes, they're weird. Yeah. They kind of reminded me of Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, but like not as cool looking, honestly. Yeah. Okay, so he goes to the bar. There's somebody watching him, and they like disappear when he's like looking because he felt like he was being watched. More on that later, I guess, because we meet that person eventually. Mm-hmm. I don't remember actually if she's one of them or not, but anyways. They go to the pub or whatever. Baby Yoda gets some chowder, which attaches to his face and is hilarious to me. I found it funny.
I love Mando's reaction. Just don't play with your food.
Yeah, he just like kills it or grabs it or whatever. It's pretty good.
So good.
So he buys some information. Obviously, somebody overheard or whatever, or they meet up with him, these weird Cthulhu people, and say, yeah, we'll take you to whoever. It's only about a 3-hour trip by boat or whatever. I can't remember. It's something like that. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, cool. It turns out really quickly that they were trying to rob him of his Beskar armor because they set a trap where they push Baby Yoda into the maw of some weird fish creature eel thing that we don't see for more than like a second. And when Mando jumps in to save him or whatever, they close the door behind it, like the little hatch or whatever, and are trying to drown him basically so they could steal his armor. And this is where we meet the actual people that are important. We meet the other Mandalorians that apparently exist in this world. So that's very cool. instantly pretty, like, I have subtitles on, and
Yeah.
the first time she talks, it says Bo-Katan on it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit. So even before she fucking took the thing off, the subtitles spoiled who it was for me, and it was so fucking bad. But anyways, Bo-Katan is a Mandalorian from the Clone Wars era, and is specifically, like, has a small role in the cartoon or whatever, but who she is basically like the heiress essentially to Mandalore and the people, because her sister was the like ruler or whatever of Mandalore that she disagreed with, and her sister was the one that kind of made it so that like Mandalorians should be more receptive to other cultures and like actually try democracy and shit like that, where Bo-Katan is very much like, no, Mandalorians fight, like we're martial in nature and blah blah blah. Which is what's funny is when they take off their helmets after saving Mando, he freaks out and he's like, what are you doing, like where did you get that armor or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's one of those people, he's a purist or whatever, he's a zealot.
Yeah.
Because apparently the people that the Mandalorian has been raised by are an offshoot of her old group called like the Death Watch or something like that.
Death Watch, yeah.
And his group that like broke off or whatever, they kind of evolved as people, the like other Mandalorians here, whereas the Mando's group of people are very, very much about, we have to do things the old traditional way, down to a T. Don't ever be a person. Like don't ever take off your stuff and blah blah blah. Yeah. So I found it funny that they're just like, oh, gross. It's one of them.
I mean, that was again, really this was like, if you're gonna like pair up this Mandalorian stuff with this Mandalorian stuff from Clone Wars, you have to do that, because like a lot of that show takes place on Mandalore, and fucking everybody's taking their helmets off all the time. It's just like, it's not how they lived.
Also, it leads to some interesting dynamics they could do in the writing of the characters, where there's like a old versus new sort of thing, kind of like fish out of water thing, where like he's trying to kind of understand where he fits in like Mandalorians, where the people he learned from aren't even really necessarily the Mandalorians. They're just kind of like a weird religious cult version almost of them.
Well, it's funny that like these people who are Mandalorians from Mandalore are like way more they're way less strict about some of that stuff than he, who is not technically a Mandalorian but completely raised in this cultish Mandalorian way. So he's like, it's just that dichotomy, that contrast.
Yeah. Also the fact that they know he was a foundling like right away.
Yeah, they sniff him out immediately.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're not like a real dude though.
Like, aw. He's our Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, and anyways, what they do is they set up a lot of interesting like little trails they could go down to write character stuff for them, and I thought that was very cool. But I guess the most important thing for now is we learn about Bo-Katan just in general. They kind of do a like, actually I thought the way they kind of did the exposition dump was kind of cute, where he's like, you're taking off your helmet, where did you get your armor? And it was like ready to attack essentially. And then she was just like, where did I get my armor? Like, it's been in my family for generations, you know, from fucking Mandalore when I fought in the Purge. Like, you know, I'm a real, like, live Mandalorian. Like, who the fuck are you? Sort of thing. Yeah. I thought that was well done.
It's also, like, a really good contrast to, like, what happened in episode 1 of the season.
Yes.
Where he also met someone in Mandalorian armor who took off the helmet, but there he was, like, the real one.
He was the... Yeah, for sure. So they, this is just like not exposition dump, but like set up for so many fucking cool things to come. he asked for information about where he can find the Jedi, because this is the race of sorcerers that he's supposed to bring the child to, his whole mission or whatever. And they're like, Jedi? What do you know of Jedi? And she's all like, well, I know one. Ask for Ahsoka. It's just like, oh my god, what? Like, she's still like alive in this fucking time doing shit, and they're like, she's on some planet. I can't remember which one they said, like forest planet or something. So for I guess for people who don't know, that's the main character from like the Clone Wars cartoon and shit.
Yes, trained by Anakin.
Anakin's Padawan.
Corvus is the
Corvus. That's it. Yeah. So that's a huge fucking deal. Because that is directly, finally tying together this stuff with like really big shit from the past, which is kind of cool.
And like, so I think for a long time, like fans just assumed Ahsoka survived, but like they kind of
there was no info about it though.
Yeah, they put out a book, I think, or they like that came out not that long ago about Ahsoka, or they announced it or something. But yeah, really? There hasn't been a lot about her.
Oh, I didn't even know they did that, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've definitely, like, the Ahsoka comeback has been certainly a thing people knew was coming, but it's exciting it's happening here. Because I don't really like that show, but she's a cool character. Despite that.
I mean, they should do more with her. Also, Bo-Katan is fucking great.
Yeah.
So, also, the fact that the actress who played her voiceover is playing her in this is just so perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, chef's kiss. Good job, guys.
Yeah. Also,
okay, so
do you know who's gonna be playing Ahsoka?
I have no idea.
Rosario Dawson.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, right?
Oh my god, this casting director should like get the biggest raise ever. Like, honestly, it's so perfect. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Also, I will say that like, even though it was ruined for me who she was, because of the subtitles, as soon as she takes off her helmet, it's the perfect hairstyle and look. Like, she looks exactly like a human counterpart would. So I was stoked, like super stoked about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, back to the actual show.
And also,
after
you go on with summary. I was just gonna say there. It was also hinted that some of this stuff was gonna come in because of the reveal of the Darksaber at the end of last season. Like, Bo-Katan being interested in that was obviously like that breadcrumb trail was leading here.
Yes, for sure. So the idea here is that she knows where the Jedi are, or a Jedi is, but for the information, he has to help them with a job because that's how he gets all his information, is by bartering. I mean, he's a bounty hunter. It's what they do. And the job is to take Imperial weapons from a freighter, a giant freighter full of stormtroopers and like the remnants of Imperials or whatever. We find out later that those weapons were for Moff Gideon and his tribe of people or whatever, and like that whole thing. So there's a little bread trail there. But I guess this is where we should talk about, like, this is where the actual stuff starts happening. Wait, no. First, he takes Baby Yoda to the frog people for them to watch over him, and he eyes the eggs, and it makes me nervous.
It still makes me uncomfortable. And man, it's like, be polite.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He like literally says it or whatever. Yeah, it's so weird. But this is, I think, the first time he goes on a mission without Baby Yoda, like in his watch somewhere. So it's pretty big that he leaves him with somebody. Okay, but now the mission, the idea is that there's no way they could sneak onto the ship because of it being heavily guarded or whatever. So what they're going to do is that while it's in like idling altitude ready to take off, they're going to jetpack up and take the weapons from the cargo hold, basically. And it should just be an easy in and out, like maybe a platoon worth of people, nothing too big. Of course, he's just like, okay, this will be like a 2-minute job. Who gives a shit? Let's do it. We find out later that they're actually going to take the whole ship, not just the weapons, for reasons which we'll get into in a second. And that's when he's like, oh god, this just became a real big job now. But this is basically just our action sequence where we get to see some cool Mandalorians flying in, taking out stormtroopers using the thermal grenades or whatever, and like just really kicking the shit out of some people. And it's dope.
We get our train robbery scene.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, they get locked in. Like the alarms go off basically as they're doing the weapon thing. They get locked in the cargo hold. From the cockpit.
The best part is when the dudes, like, they're coming, and the dude who's like in the cargo hold to defend it is like, oh no, they're gonna get here. Close all the doors. And like they get locked into the cargo control room. And he's like, where did you lock them in? The cargo, and then they get jettisoned out the airlock. It's so good.
It's very good. Yeah. And then we get the whole part where like the dude that's kind of running the freighter ship, the Imperial General or whatever that's on the ship, gets the command to to take out basically everybody, take out the ship or whatever. So he kills the pilots and then starts just like jettisoning it down into the water to die, I guess, to like take them all down.
Yeah.
From Gideon himself, Moff Gideon. So this is where we find out that he has something to do with this weapon freighter that they're on. Obviously, it's no big problem for them to just like run to the end of the ship, grab hold of it, even though it's like falling down, and then like kind of question him what the fuck's going on, and he kills himself with like this sci-fi version of like a cyanide pill in his teeth or something.
It's an electric type cyanide capsule.
Yeah.
It uses thunder on him, and then he dies.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole part is literally just a spectacle of them killing a whole bunch of stormtroopers and Mando having the heroic moment of being shot 1,000,000 times in the chest because his armor is like impenetrable.
That part's pretty dope, where he's just like, just runs forward, eats all the laser fire, and tosses the grenades. That's pretty good.
It's really good for sure. Yeah, they force their way to the cockpit. And this is where also, during the like questioning of him, Bo-Katan threatens him and says, "Where's the Darksaber?" And we're just like, "Oh shit, the Darksaber, the thing he had at the end. Oh my god," or whatever.
Yeah.
Because she was telling a story, not a story necessarily, but she needs it to rule Mandalore. Basically, like. She wants to go back to Mandalore and kind of bring the Mandalorians back to the way they were. And since she is the sister of the old, I can't remember what they're called. Like, I keep thinking like prime minister, but it's not that. It's not like an actual term. It's, you remember what it's called? No. I can't remember. Anyways, like the throne or whatever, right? Like the throne of Mandalore. Oh no, aren't they literally called Mandalore or something? I don't remember. Anyway.
Mandalore with like an apostrophe between the D and the A.
Yeah, which is basically like king or whatever. It's like if your world was called King Land and then like you lived on King and like ruled City King as the king. It's so weird.
It's like you're King Vegeta on Planet Vegeta.
It actually is that, like legitimately. Yeah. So anyways, for some reason or whatever, she needs the Darksaber, or somebody needs the Darksaber. And then we find out that it's her trying to like become the next heiress or whatever, the next ruler.
The Return of the Queen.
Return of the Queen sort of thing. Yep, for sure. Yeah, Captain kills himself. They get out or whatever, because the distress signal has been sent and Moff Gideon's probably like on their trail right now. So they have the Mandalorian and the child have to leave basically immediately. Where the others, they're called the Night Owls, by the way, the group of Mandalorians, but Bo-Katan and her little crew there give the information to go to Corvus, where he'll find Ahsoka, and maybe some more information about the Jedi just in general, and that she like invites him to hang out with them at any time to like help bring glory back to Mandalore or whatever they're doing.
Bo-Katan will remember this. Bo-Katan will remember this. We'll see them again before these seasons.
Oh, for sure.
Probably.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He goes back to the frog's home, and we see Baby Yoda playing with the tadpole thing that hatched, like the child. And it's weirdly long. It's a weirdly long shot. It's like a maybe half a full minute of just him, like, just weird puppetry going on. And I'm like, what the fuck are we watching right now? Like, why are they on this scene for so long? But he seems to like it, and he asks if they can keep it in whatever language or grunts or whatever he does. 'Cause he's like, no, I have enough pets, as they're like walking away. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that part was cute, but it just lasted too long. It's like, why is he like clapping or like moving his hands all weirdly around this thing? I was afraid he was going to eat it.
I know. I'm glad to be away from them so that anxiety can go away. I think it's just they didn't fill their Baby Yoda quota for the rest of the episode because Baby Yoda wasn't in enough of it. So they're like, we need more Baby Yoda to fuel the meme machine.
Yeah. Everybody didn't ask, where's Baby Yoda?
Exactly.
When he wasn't on screen. They had to do something about it. Okay, he grabs him, goes to the ship. The ship is literally being held by fishing nets and wires.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's so gross.
He says, like, well, I said I'd get it to fly or something like that. And sure enough, it flies, but it's like if you've ever driven a car where there's like a problem, I can't remember what it is, like with the timing belt or something, and it does this weird jerky motion as you're going. It like literally does that, where it's like going up and it's just like jerking a few meters every like bit. It's really uncomfortable watching it go up, honestly.
But it's just great because it's like, you paid him like 1,000 credits, but he's a dude whose dock is like in the middle of a dock. Like, what did you expect?
Literally one dude, by the way. Literally one dude.
He did his
and
best.
then it just kind of ends with them heading off, I'm assuming to Corvus. Like, where else would they go? But I'm sure there'll be pit stops along the way.
Yeah.
And a weird little tentacle thing drips onto, or like it's about to attack Baby Yoda, and Mandalorian just like grabs it and kills it, essentially.
And Baby Yoda eats it.
And then Baby Yoda, and it ends with Baby Yoda, a tentacle in Baby Yoda's mouth, because of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. There is a lot of like lore shit going on in this one, and it's fucking great. It gets me so excited for what might come up, and also a little nervous because they could fuck some shit up really badly if they like write stuff not great or something. I don't know. What's your favorite stuff going on in this?
I mean, the heist was fun. Like it was a good time. Like robbing that cargo ship, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm excited for future stuff. I will say I've heard people like overstating how good they thought this episode was, so I'm a little softer on it. The people are saying like this is the best episode of the show ever, and I'm like, I don't agree with that. But
it might be one of the most important ones, besides like, Baby Yoda.
No, if for people who are like giant Clone Wars fans, I could see them feeling that way. But
sure,
yeah. Like when Ahsoka actually shows up and does cool stuff, like I'll be more excited.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. What I'm excited for is the potential that this show sets up this episode.
Yeah. We finally established the cool things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
More
and honestly, just completely transparently,
Boba Fett showing up at some point before this, but
yeah, after what happened in the last one, where there was kind of nothing but spectacle, it was super nice to get back to like a giant story dump of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of like pushes me over the edge a little bit. Also, this is a very short one, and it's a surprising how much happens in it. This is like a 32-minute, something like that, just a little bit over 30 minutes.
I mean, just think about how quick it goes from him getting advice from that dude to being on that dude's ship to that dude pushing Baby Yoda into the maw of a sea beast and locking him underwater. Just like
it's one scene. Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. Let's keep this moving, baby. It's pretty great.
It's crazy. Also, this is the second episode by Bryce Dallas Howard, directed by her. Yes. She did the one where they her and the right-wing crazy lady turned out to be I can't remember her, Gina Carano, but I don't remember her name in the show, where they like have a showdown with the dudes who keep attacking the little village, that foresty planet or whatever. Yeah. So she did that episode as well. It's good. It was a good episode. I'm just trying to think of really standout things. Obviously, just the character stuff. This is like huge for character stuff going on. Yeah. Finding new other Mandalorians is so nice. Honestly, for some reason, it was almost like a breath of fresh air. I don't know.
Like, oh, these are like humans who like talk to people and have feelings.
Yeah.
They're not like completely repressed the way Mando is.
Yeah. Also, that they recognize that what he's doing is weird is nice.
Yeah. I really like when the ship was about to land and then the engine blew up and it all fell in the water. That was funny.
Yeah.
Got so close.
Yeah. Again, Mon Calamari.
Yeah, the Mon Calamari dock worker. I felt a kinship with that dude.
Yeah.
That dude had
just a working guy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I'll make her fly.
I'm just seeing if there's anything. I don't think there's anything else. It was kind of like, honestly, the heist is fine, but it's not great. It's not the best heist they've done, even.
No. That was my other thing. Is like in terms of a heist, it wasn't as good as the prison episode.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's cool.
But this one certainly does build more. Like this one shows more potential for future episodes, which I feel like the way people react to these episodes. Like I also thought people were way more down on the Ice Spiders episode than I was. Like I feel like people just want that like plot drip. They just fucking need it of like things, the things that matter, the details, the deets.
I love that shit.
They need Dark Saber. They need Dark Saber name drops. And, yeah, no, I mean ideally the show would be given. It's like it would be giving you a little bit of everything. But I'm fine with episodes that don't have that.
I mean, I've heard the opposite, where that was one of the best episodes of the series.
Weird. That I also don't agree with. So
yeah, that one I felt. Honestly, I disagree with it being the best episode more than it being the worst.
Yeah. You'd have to really like Ice Spiders.
I mean, some people might love Ice Spiders.
Just like fucking Ice Spiders, dude.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just really like that frog lady. Just for like.
Any final thoughts?
Baby Yoda did not eat any more eggs in this episode, and I was relieved.
But you were worried the whole time.
I was worried the whole time.
We all were. Especially when he left him alone. Like, no, you left a monster there.
I like that, like, the show has room for, like, the touching emotional reunion between two frog characters who don't talk.
And they just do this awkward, like, Muppet thing where they're just kind of, like, patting each other.
Yeah, like, just Muppet shit. Give it to me.
I love Muppet shit. It's really good. All right, well, we'll end that there. We'll be back to talk about the next episode.